peace officer now for 18 years. I've been wearing khaki and green since 1985, and this is without a doubt the most exciting job I've had, the best job I've had, and the most variety. I highly recommend, if you're interested in becoming a state park peace officer, that you go to the website www.parks.ca.gov/cadet, and you'll find more information there.
Someone had a question about getting started. They're a park aide right now. Any advice?
Okay, if someone's a park aide right now, they're really in a great position because you're able to see what state park peace officers do on a daily basis. You're able to interact with state park peace officers. You also can start to imagine yourself in their position and say, yes, I can do this job. I certainly understand what they do, their duties, sort of the daily routine that they go through. Being a state park, or being a park aide, is a great entryway to learn about the job. One of the questions that gets often asked is about the vision requirements. Are there special vision requirements to be a state park peace officer? And yes, there are. It's not too different than game warden or highway patrol, but I'll go over those now. Uncorrected in both eyes, you can't be worse than 20/40. So that means without glasses or contacts, your vision can't be worse than 20/40. And when you're on duty, they need to be corrected to 20/20 in both eyes. There also has to be normal color vision standards met. The vision correction is an option. That would be either LASIK or PRK surgery. However, you have to wait 6 months after the surgery for your vision to become stable before you're accepted into an academy situation.
What's the age limit?
I'm sorry?
Age limit.
The age limit, there is no maximum age to be a state park peace officer. Correct. 65 is the maximum age. If you were to get into the academy, there is no maximum age. I guess it would be 64. That we have had some successful candidates go through in their 50s, and they've been successful and got out in a job. The minimum age is 21.
18.
Oh, I'm being told it's 18 years old. Another question that is often asked is, I'm a veteran. How do I get veterans preference points added to my exam score? For all those veterans out there, thanks for your service. I really appreciate that. All veterans must be approved by Cal HR as an eligible vet. And there's some information that you can get on the website for more detailed information. Veterans who pass the written exam will be placed in rank 1. There's some documentation that the department will need to see the personnel unit for anyone who is in that criteria of being a vet. And again, you can revert to the Cadet webpage for more information. www.parks.ca.gov/cadet.
Do they need to have completed an 832 ADJ course?
No, they do not. There are ways that people can get some post-training. You can actually go through an entire post-academy, but you're just a academy grad. One of the questions that's coming in now is, I've already taken my Pellet B exam. Can I use that score for this cadet exam? And the answer is yes, if the following conditions are met. You have a score of 42 or higher. It's been obtained within the last 12 months, so that would be June 3rd, 2015 to June 3rd, 2016. If you do meet those two requirements, then it must be postmarked or hand-delivered to our department's personnel unit no later than June 3rd of 2016. So that's just in a few weeks. Again, more information on the exam bulletin. The web information can be found. Someone's asked, where will I work? The academy takes 6 to 8 months. It's currently being held in Butte College in Oroville. It's not a live-in style academy. You'll make your own housing arrangements, but the academy is typically a Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 type situation. Work placements after the academy are based on the needs of the department. A list of vacancies generally given to the cadets within the first 45 days of the academy. Priority selection is based on your eligibility list rank. So that's received after the written test. So to put it another way, the better you do on the written test, the better you score, and you're earlier in the picking with your fellow cadets as far as your assignment. Typically, an assignment out of the academy, you're going to be sent there for 2 years before you can transfer to another location.
How long is a workday?
In the academy?
In both the academy and out in the field.
Okay, in the academy, it's starting usually at 7 a.m., 0700 hours, and going another 8 or 10 hours. There are times where Saturday and Sunday participation is required, and that might be in one of the disciplines of firearms or defensive tactics. There's a lot of information to cover, and there's just not enough hours to do it Monday through Friday. So cadets are compensated if they do work more than 40 hours in a work week. And in the field, around the state it varies. Some work locations are 4 10-hour days a week with 3 days off. A lot of locations are 5 8-hour shifts, both of those 40-hour work weeks. It should be expected that between the time of Memorial Day weekend and Labor Day weekend, you would be working longer hours. You're probably going to work on the big holidays, Memorial Day weekend, the 4th of July. There are times where I've worked 23-hour shifts because incidents happen. As a state park peace officer, you are a full peace officer. You will be investigating crimes. You'll be issuing citations. You'll be making physical arrests. You'll be doing traffic enforcement. You'll be assisting allied agencies in larger events.
As a full peace officer, does that mean I have to wear a gun, and do I receive training in how to use it?
Yes, the question was, do you have to wear a firearm while on duty? And the answer is yes, except in very limited situations, formal interpretation, or where it's not applicable in some sort of very, very limited situation. The firearm is always worn on duty. As you can see, I'm wearing the typical state park peace officer work belt. It consists of the firearm, extra magazines, a taser or an electronically controlled weapon, a baton, handcuffs, pepper spray, and other accessories that the individual officer may want to wear, whether a Leatherman tool or some sort of GPS device.
Training for that?
So the training for firearms is part of the academy. That's in the basic sense of the academy, just like defensive tactics. So in the firearms training portion of the academy, cadets are going to be in about 4 weeks of firearms training where you're learning to draw, shoot the firearm of the handgun and the shotgun. Also, the patrol rifle is introduced into the academy and the firearms training at some point. So there's 3 weapon systems that state park peace officers use: a Smith & Wesson 40 caliber handgun, a Remington 870 pump shotgun, and the Colt 223 rifle.
Any dangers to this career?
As a state park peace officer, that's one of the great things about the job. You never know what's coming next around the next corner. But yeah, there is a danger, certainly. It's like being a firefighter, a highway patrolman, a police officer in a city, or a sheriff. There's a question coming in: can officers, municipal peace officers, sheriff's deputies, correctional officers transfer to the Ranger class? And the answer is yes, with certain conditions met. State Personnel Board transfer rules, that's section 250, the minimum qualifications all have to be met. You also have to meet all of the requirements in the cadet selection process. If you do currently have a post certificate, whether it's just an academy grad or you're working for an agency and you might have an intermediate or advanced post, all of that certification and paperwork will need to be submitted to the department's personnel unit, and then they will certify on a case-by-case scenario. So another question is, okay, I've got all that paperwork. Do I have to go through another basic post-academy, the 6-month, 24-week academy? And the answer is, it's a case-by-case scenario. Everyone's judged individually on what training they had, how long the training was, their work assignment, how have they been working. State Park peace officers typically work alone. There are days where people are doubled up because it's the weekend, but typically a State Park peace officer is a solo officer in a vehicle, sometimes patrolling by foot. Our OHV units, you can patrol by a dirt bike, which you're trained on how to ride. You can patrol in different types of four-wheel vehicles. We even have a whitewater patrol. We have a pilot. We have some very unique positions around the state. Questions coming in about boat patrol. People really think that's a great assignment, and yes, at our reservoirs, so the big reservoirs, Millerton, Folsom, Paris, Silverwood, Oroville, San Luis, all of those have vessels or boats that rangers and lifeguards are using to patrol from morning to night. Questions coming in, how do I schedule a ride-along with an officer? Easiest way to do that is to email recruiting@parks.ca.gov. Again, that's recruiting@parks.ca.gov. Ride-along opportunities are available throughout the state. We recommend requesting at least 2 or 3 ride-alongs at different locations or different park types. So make arrangements with a State Park peace officer, ranger, or lifeguard to go out on boat patrol. Make arrangements with someone who works in more of a historical unit. Go to a reservoir, go to the coast, go to Lake Tahoe. Make arrangements to talk to someone who has a canine. We do have canine officers throughout the state, and that is an opportunity that could come your way in your career. Questions coming in, what are the education requirements to be a cadet? All successful candidates must complete 60 semester units of accredited college at an institution that is accredited. That includes 21 semester units that meet the general ed requirements. So again, 60 units of college. It does not have to be a 2-year degree. You do not have to have a bachelor's degree. However, you must have those 60 units, and 21 of those units must meet general ed requirements. Degrees in law enforcement, natural science, and park administration are desirable. At least 30 semester units must be completed, and you're currently enrolled, you can apply. So if you're thinking of applying now in the next couple weeks before June 3rd, and you have 35 college units, you still can apply. If you have 5 college units, then I would continue with your schooling, get that accomplished, and then sign up in the next round. Again, you need to have at least 30 of the 60 units and be currently enrolled in college to apply. And then you must meet the rest of those. So if you have 30 and you need 60, you must have those other 30 by your appointment date. With me is Josh Neff, who is a State Park lifeguard. An interesting thing is, what does it mean that it's a State Park peace officer ranger and State Park peace officer lifeguard? Josh is a lifeguard who is similar duties as a ranger, although he has an aquatic specialty. Typically, they've come from our lifeguard series, a seasonal lifeguard. I'll let Josh explain some of his duties.
Thank you, Sergeant Liske. I'm a peace officer with the state of California State Parks. My assigned park unit is the Folsom Lake State Recreation Area, which encompasses over 150 miles of shoreline in the Folsom Lake, as well as the lower Lake Natoma forebay, which is approximately another 20 miles of shoreline. And as well, there's 2 inlets, both the north and South Fork of the American River, so there's swift water aspects as well. As a state park peace officer lifeguard, you could have the opportunity to work at either any one of our gorgeous beaches all up and down the coast of California, or one of our several reservoirs. As a lifeguard, you will need obviously lifeguard background, but the department will train you as to what our procedures and protocols are for making aquatic rescues and recoveries within our park units. That will consist of, as a permanent state park peace officer, you will need to attend our 8-day Lifeguard Training Academy, which is held at Huntington State Beach. It will encompass over 40 hours of emergency medical response training, as well as what to do in case of an aquatic emergency and actually making aquatic rescues and bringing people into shore. It's a great opportunity. I don't know of any other classification as a law enforcement officer where my job duty and my job description requires me to make aquatic rescues. I'm not actually in the water unless I need to be, so I wear my red trunks underneath my uniform, and in the case of an emergency where there's no other seasonal lifeguard, I can go in and make aquatic rescues if need be.
Anything that potential applicants should know about the application process to help them be best prepared?
Yes, to be prepared and interview for the state peace officer lifeguard classification, like I said, you will need aquatic safety lifeguarding experience, and if you qualify, you will have 6 months of lifeguard training and experience in facilities other than a pool. So you will need to have open water lifeguarding experience, such as working for LA County lifeguards down in their beaches, or working for East Bay Regional Park District. They have open water lifeguard classifications. Like I said, that's a way to get your foot into the door as a state park peace officer lifeguard. However, you will be required to attend and complete successfully the Huntington State Beach Ocean Water Lifeguard Academy.
Describe a typical day.
Well, a question came in as what would be a typical day as a peace officer lifeguard for California State Parks. It really is, there is no typical day. I could be working in the facility of a campground, giving a lecture to a number of people, and I could get a call with my radio signaling an aquatic rescue, which means I would need to drop what I was doing, get into my patrol truck, head down to possibly the boat or the site of the accident, and respond. We respond to vessel accidents, we respond to medicals in all areas of the park. As well, we have our law enforcement duties that are within our impact zone, or our zone of impact that surround the park. So as Officer Liske was stating, we have not only resource and interpretation duties, we also have law enforcement duties, which would encompass making vehicle stops, contacting persons for safety reasons, as well as making aquatic rescues and recoveries.
What would you recommend for anyone who's under 18 who wants to become a state park lifeguard? How can they prepare themselves for when they are eligible to apply?
In the month of April, we will put out our selection process for seasonal lifeguard training, and that's a great way to become a permanent state park peace officer. It's also a great job to have in the summertime. So what you'll need to do is apply, come out, swim. There's some swim requirements. They're held usually at all the reservoirs and the different beach locations. You do a swim, run. You pass that, you come in for an interview with a sergeant, a peace officer that's in charge of that aquatic program for that sector unit. And then you can, if you're selected, you'll be a tower guard sitting in the tower, and beaches. That's a great way to get on the books with state parks, and then you'll have the opportunity to apply when you become of age to do so to become a state park peace officer in the lifeguard classification. There's a question that's coming in right now is, can I be a peace officer from a European country? And that's unfortunately no. California Penal Code requires that all state park peace officers be U.S. citizens or have applied for citizenship in order to, within 3 years of appointment with California State Parks. I'd like to thank you all and your time today. These are some great questions, and we look forward to seeing you apply and become a peace officer with the state of California.